My beloved child. There is a reason this message found you now and not before. There is a reason these words are reaching your ears at this exact moment. You have felt it for a long time, that strange pressure inside your chest, that instinct telling you to stay quiet even when your mind screams to speak. This is not fear. This is awareness. Because there are moments in life where silence is not weakness, it is protection. You are standing at the edge of something rare, something powerful, something that only reveals itself when the mouth is closed and the mind is fully awake. What you do not say in the next phase of your life will decide more than what you say. Every second from here matters. Every word you hold back is building something unseen but unstoppable. Listen carefully now, because this truth is not repeated often. The world rewards noise, but it obeys silence. People who talk too much leak their power without realizing it. They announce their plans before they are ready. They reveal their emotions before they are understood. They expose their wounds to people who secretly enjoy watching them bleed. Right now, someone around you is waiting for you to speak one unnecessary sentence. One emotional confession. One careless explanation. Because that sentence would give them the missing piece they need. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is a locked door. And not everyone deserves the key. The more you explain yourself, the more control you hand over. The less you speak, the more dangerous you become in ways they cannot predict. Here is what no one told you before. There is a shift happening around you. Quietly. Slowly. Invisibly. You are being observed, not in a dramatic way, but in a strategic way. Your reactions are being measured. Your words are being remembered. Your patterns are being studied. This is why staying silent now is critical. Because the moment you explain your next move, it loses its power. The moment you justify yourself, you place yourself below someone else's judgment. Silence keeps you unmeasurable. Silence keeps you unreadable. Silence keeps you ahead. When you stop talking, people start revealing themselves. They fill the quiet with their own truths. And those truths are worth more than anything you could ever say. There is a secret advantage hidden inside keeping your mouth completely shut. When you do not react immediately, time bends in your favor. People expect responses. They crave validation. They depend on feedback. When you give none, their confidence cracks. They start doubting themselves. They expose intentions they never planned to show. You gain clarity while they lose balance. This is not about manipulation. This is about mastery. Mastery over your emotions. Mastery over timing. Mastery over outcomes. You are not meant to be loud at this stage. You are meant to be precise. Quiet precision always wins against noisy ambition. Understand this final truth for now. Silence is preparing you for something bigger than your current reality. There is a door ahead that only opens for those who can hold their tongue when it matters most. If you speak too soon, the door disappears. If you remain silent, it reveals itself. Not everyone who listens to this will understand it. But you did. That is why you are here. Hold your silence like a weapon. Carry it like a shield. Because what is coming next will only favor those who knew when to stop talking. This is the moment where most people fail without realizing it. They mistake silence for emptiness and rush to fill it with words. But silence is not a pause. Silence is a test. Right now, life is watching how long you can stay quiet when provoked, when questioned, when misunderstood. Because the ones who cannot control their mouth can never control their destiny. Every time you resist the urge to explain yourself, something inside you hardens. Something sharpens. You are not being ignored. You are being prepared. And preparation always feels lonely before it feels powerful. There is something happening behind the scenes that your silence is protecting. Plans take shape best in darkness. Seeds grow underground before anyone sees green. If you talk now, you expose the roots before they are strong. People think sharing brings support, but premature sharing brings interference. Not everyone wants you to win. Some want updates only to measure how close you are. Some ask questions only to calculate your weakness. Silence removes their access. When you stop talking, you take control of the narrative without saying a single sentence. Mystery becomes your advantage. Uncertainty becomes their discomfort. Notice how people react when you stay quiet. Some become nervous. Some become curious. Some become aggressive. That reaction tells you everything you need to know about their intentions. Words can lie. Silence cannot. In quiet moments, truth leaks out of others without effort. They reveal jealousy disguised as concern. They reveal fear disguised as advice. They reveal competition disguised as friendship. Your job is not to confront them. Your job is to observe. Because the person who sees clearly never needs to speak loudly. There is a deeper reason this message is insisting on silence. Energy follows attention. Every word you speak drains a small part of your inner force. When you conserve it, it begins to build pressure. That pressure turns into presence. People start feeling you before you speak. They sense weight behind your silence. Authority is not announced. It is felt. The quietest person in the room often controls the outcome, because they are not reacting. They are choosing. Silence gives you the space to choose correctly. Remember this and hold it close. Not every battle needs a response. Not every misunderstanding needs clarification. Not every emotion needs expression. The next phase of your life requires discipline, not noise. Keep your mouth completely shut when instinct tells you to defend yourself. That instinct is old. A stronger version of you is being formed now. One that speaks only when the impact is guaranteed. What comes next will reward patience, restraint, and silence in ways that words never could. There comes a phase where silence starts changing how the world treats you. You may not notice it immediately, but conversations around you begin to shift. People choose their words more carefully. They hesitate before assuming. They pause before underestimating you. This is because silence creates gravity. When you stop explaining yourself, others are forced to fill the gaps with their imagination. And imagination is powerful. It either elevates you or exposes their insecurity. In both cases, you gain ground without effort. You are no longer chasing understanding. You are commanding attention without asking for it. Most people believe being heard means being respected. That belief keeps them trapped. Respect is born from restraint, not repetition. When you repeat your truth, it sounds like doubt. When you defend your position, it looks like weakness. But when you stay quiet, your actions become louder than any speech. Silence turns results into your voice. And results never need justification. This is why those who speak less are often remembered longer. Their presence lingers. Their impact stays. Their silence echoes long after words are forgotten. Something important is happening inside you as well. Silence is teaching you patience at a level few ever reach. You are learning to sit with discomfort without reacting. You are learning to observe emotions without obeying them. This inner control is rare. It is the difference between those who react to life and those who shape it. Every time you choose silence over impulse, you are rewriting your internal code. You are becoming someone who cannot be easily provoked, easily influenced, or easily defeated. Pay attention now, because this is crucial. Silence does not mean absence of truth. It means truth waiting for the right moment. Timing transforms ordinary words into irreversible statements. When you finally speak after a long silence, people listen differently. Your words land heavier. They cut deeper. They stay longer. Because silence builds anticipation, and anticipation magnifies impact. You are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because what you will say later is too powerful to waste early. Hold this discipline tightly. The world will tempt you to speak prematurely, to clarify, to defend, to react. Resist it. You are stepping into a version of yourself that operates above noise, above chaos, above unnecessary explanation. Silence is no longer something you are practicing. It is becoming who you are. And very soon, others will feel the shift before you even open your mouth. At this stage, silence stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like instinct. You no longer bite your tongue. You no longer force restraint. It happens naturally, as if some inner switch has been flipped. This is the moment where control replaces impulse. You realize that not everything deserves your voice. Not every situation deserves your energy. The power is not in proving yourself right. The power is in letting outcomes speak for you while you remain untouched by the noise around them. There is a subtle shift that only the quiet notice. When you stop reacting, situations begin to resolve themselves. People expose their motives without pressure. Conflicts reveal their true source without confrontation. You start seeing patterns that were invisible when emotions were loud. Silence sharpens perception. It turns confusion into clarity. You are no longer inside the storm. You are watching it from above. And from that height, decisions become obvious and mistakes become rare. Understand this carefully now. The world is built to distract you into speaking too soon. Opinions demand replies. Accusations beg for defense. Expectations push for explanations. Silence breaks this cycle completely. When you do not respond on command, you reclaim authority over your time and your mind. Others begin adjusting to you instead of the other way around. You set the pace without announcing it. This is leadership without noise. This is strength without display. There is also a deeper emotional protection happening. Silence filters pain. It prevents unnecessary regret. Words once spoken cannot be retrieved. Silence gives you the chance to feel fully without damaging yourself later. You process privately. You heal quietly. You grow invisibly. While others are busy explaining their wounds, you are closing yours. While others are demanding understanding, you are building resilience. Silence is not suppression. It is selection. Remember this as you move forward. Not speaking is not losing your voice. It is saving it for a moment that will change everything. A moment where one sentence will outweigh years of noise. Until then, stay unreadable. Stay grounded. Stay silent. Because what is forming inside you now requires calm, control, and absolute precision. And silence is the only place where that power can fully grow. There is a moment when silence stops being defensive and starts becoming strategic. You begin to recognize which situations are traps disguised as conversations. Which questions are hooks wrapped in curiosity. Which reactions are being provoked on purpose. This awareness changes everything. You no longer rush to clarify misunderstandings, because you understand that some misunderstandings are intentional. Silence removes you from games you were never meant to play. It lifts you out of cycles designed to drain you. And once you step out, the game collapses on its own. People will start projecting their own stories onto your quietness. Some will assume confidence. Some will assume mystery. Some will assume distance. Let them. Projection is not your responsibility. Explanation is not your duty. The more they guess, the more control you hold. Silence turns assumptions into mirrors. What they see in you often reveals who they are. This is why staying quiet is powerful. You are gathering information without asking questions. You are learning without revealing position. You are advancing while appearing still. Inside you, something even more important is happening. Your self-respect is solidifying. You stop feeling the need to be validated externally. You stop chasing agreement. You stop fearing being misunderstood. This inner independence is rare. It creates stability in chaos. When approval no longer controls you, manipulation loses its grip. Silence strengthens your spine. It aligns you with your values rather than opinions. You begin responding only when it aligns with your purpose, not your emotions. Here is a truth that only silence reveals. Not everyone who demands your explanation deserves your truth. Some people want answers, not to understand you, but to use what they learn. Silence protects your future from being shaped by the wrong hands. It keeps your intentions clean. It keeps your direction intact. When you finally decide to speak, it is deliberate, measured, unavoidable. And when that moment arrives, your words carry the weight of everything you chose not to say before. Hold steady now. You are closer than you think to a breakthrough that requires calm, not chaos. Your quiet is not delaying progress. It is accelerating it quietly. While others rush and reveal, you are consolidating power. While others talk and scatter, you are focusing and building. Keep your mouth completely shut when silence feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is proof that growth is happening. And what is coming next will reward this discipline in ways that noise never could. Something unexpected happens when you master silence. People begin to listen even when you are not speaking. Your presence alone starts influencing rooms, decisions, and outcomes. This is because silence creates authority without announcement. You no longer chase moments. Moments start waiting for you. When you speak less, every word you do release feels intentional, almost heavy. Others sense that weight. They pause. They pay attention. They realize that when you finally speak, it will matter. At this level, silence becomes a filter. It separates what is urgent from what is noise. Many situations feel important only because emotions are loud. When you remain quiet, false urgency dissolves. You see what truly deserves action and what is designed only to distract. This clarity saves you from unnecessary conflict and wasted effort. You stop reacting to symptoms and begin addressing causes. Silence trains your mind to move slower, but hit harder. Precision replaces chaos. There is also a shift in how you relate to pressure. Silence teaches you to hold tension without releasing it impulsively. Most people crack under pressure and reveal everything too early. You do not. You hold. You observe. You let pressure work for you instead of against you. Over time, this builds an inner calm that cannot be shaken easily. When others panic, you stay centered. When others rush, you wait. That difference is where advantage lives. Understand this clearly now. Silence is not passive. It is active restraint. It is a decision repeated daily. Each time you choose not to respond immediately, you gain leverage over the situation. Time becomes your ally. People reveal more when they are uncomfortable with quiet. They over-explain. They justify. They expose. You collect patterns instead of opinions. Patterns never lie. Silence gives you access to them. This phase is shaping you for something that demands maturity, not noise. The future version of you cannot afford careless words or emotional reactions. Silence is sharpening you for responsibility, influence, and impact. Keep trusting this discipline. Keep honoring the quiet. Because when the moment arrives that requires your voice, it will land with such force that silence will be remembered as the reason it worked. Now the quiet begins to protect you before you even realize danger exists. Situations that once pulled you into drama no longer reach you. Conversations that once demanded emotional energy simply pass by. This is not avoidance. This is elevation. When you remain silent, you are no longer standing in the crowd. You are standing above it. From there, you see intentions clearly. You notice who speaks to understand and who speaks to control. Silence turns confusion into vision, and vision turns into quiet confidence. There is a powerful shift happening in how people approach you. They start choosing words more carefully around you. They hesitate. They sense that you cannot be easily influenced. Silence creates an invisible boundary that words cannot cross. You do not need to announce standards when your presence enforces them. The less you explain yourself, the more others respect the space around you. Silence is not distance. Silence is command without force. Inside you, discipline has now replaced impulse completely. You no longer feel the urge to prove, impress, or defend. Emotional reactions no longer control your behavior. This is where true freedom begins. When nothing outside you can force a reaction, you become unmovable. Silence has trained you to respond only when it serves your direction. Every unnecessary word you avoided has strengthened this inner stability. You are no longer easy to read, easy to provoke, or easy to derail. Here is the deeper revelation most never reach. Silence reshapes identity. When you stop narrating your life, you start living it more fully. You stop seeking acknowledgement and start building substance. Growth accelerates in quiet. Strength compounds when unseen. Others may not notice the changes immediately, but they will feel them. Results will appear without announcements. Progress will arrive without explanation. Silence allows success to surprise the world instead of warning it. Stay here a little longer. Do not rush to break the quiet just because it feels unfamiliar. This stage is fragile and powerful at the same time. What you are becoming cannot be rushed or revealed early. Silence is still working. It is aligning timing, sharpening judgment, and protecting momentum. Very soon, the reason for all this restraint will become obvious. Until then, remain steady. Remain quiet. Because the final shift is closer than it appears. Part 8. This is where silence completes its work. You are no longer holding back words. You are holding space. Space for clarity. Space for precision. Space for outcomes that do not need explanation. The noise that once pulled at you now sounds distant, almost irrelevant. You have learned that urgency is often artificial, created to rush you into mistakes. By staying quiet, you let truth rise on its own. What survives the quiet is real. What collapses in silence was never meant for you. People may notice a difference now. They cannot define it, but they feel it. You seem grounded. Unshakable. Certain without being loud. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Silence has aligned your thoughts, your timing, and your intent. You speak only when the moment is ripe. And when you do, your words land clean, direct, and irreversible. No defense needed. No follow-up required. Silence taught you that the strongest statements are the ones that end conversations, not extend them. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization most never reach. Silence does not hide you from the world. It reveals the world to you. It shows you who respects boundaries. Who honors timing. Who waits. And who panics when control slips away. You now know who deserves access to your voice and who never did. This discernment is priceless. It protects your future decisions, relationships, and direction. Silence refined your judgment until it became instinct. What comes next will not require announcements. It will not need validation.